Complete Animal Removal.
Yes, sir.
So how we like to start these is just introduce yourself, introduce the business, what do you guys do, and then we can kind of just go from there in a conversation.
Okay. So I'm Olivia. I'm with Complete Animal Removal. We are a full remediation wildlife service that is licensed to do all federally protected, domesticated, and nuisance wildlife. And whenever I say full service, we do start to finish projects, so we're not just getting that animal removed. We're also offering fogging treatments, insulation replacement, closing up those entry points that animal was able to get in through to make a full remediation for that person instead of just solving the animal issue.
Nice. So instead of just quick fix, it's going to be a permanent fix.
Yes, sir. We kind of have the quote of never wanting return customers. We want to do it right the first time.
Yeah,
so.
Which sucks as a business, but that's what the customer needs.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't want to be calling us.
That's right. Yeah. We're similar in the restoration world, whereas because we go in and we deal with fires and water and mold and all that stuff. So the customer very rarely wants us there. They're happy we're there, but they don't want us there. And you guys are in a similar spot, which is just like no one wants a raccoon in their crawl space or whatever it is, but they're happy you're there to take care of it. They hope you never see you again.
Yes,
right.
Absolutely. I get told all the time on the phone.
Yeah.
I hope I don't ever need you again. Fingers crossed. So
yeah.
I keep my finger crossed for these people.
So, what's the most common service you guys do right now for customers? Is there a particular animal you guys remove more often than not? Is there a particular location in the home? What's the day-to-day kind of look like in y'all's world?
We mostly see animals get in through the attic or crawl space. Those are their favorite entry points. Right now, with it getting a little bit warmer, we're starting to see a lot more of those snake jobs. Snakes are out moving and grooving now that it's warmed up. We also, what was that?
I said no thank you.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
I'm glad that I'm on the nice side of business.
So you just get the call and you send the guys out.
Yeah, we've got some pretty brave guys. But we're seeing an influx. We just got done with skunk mating season.
Skunk mating?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so we got a ton of calls last month when it came to skunks because they like their little private space. So they love being in crawl spaces to reproduce.
So they're going, oh my gosh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yep, and they will spray all over your HVAC unit, make your whole house smell like a skunk.
Oh, dude, that's like First off, that's hilarious that skunks get a room.
Yeah, they're very private. Weirdly enough, they're very private about their love life. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, all right. So, skunk mating season means they're entering crawl spaces and they're spraying everywhere.
Yes.
Okay. And then what do you guys do? You have to go in and rip out ductwork? Can you just clean it and spray it? And do you get rid of the smell or do you just get rid of the animal?
So we have a fogging treatment that is antimicrobial and a deodorizer. So it kills that pheromone of that animal. That's a huge key point when it comes to removing animals because you can get a raccoon out of a crawl space all day long, but all it takes is another one to come across, sniff that there's one in there, and he's either going to want to be getting a room or he's going to know that that's a safe space for him to be because another animal has already been there.
So the getting rid of the smell is super important for, like you were saying earlier, that long-term fix instead of just a quick fix.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so the fogging treatments, it's either antimicrobial and deodorization as well as removing of the skunks. Now, do you guys do a fix on how, or like a inspection onto how they got in there and then how we can prevent them getting in there in the future?
Yes, sir. So all of our services start with a free inspection, and our inspector would go out. They usually take 30 minutes to an hour doing their inspection. A lot of times the homeowner is home and they, have seen a sighting of some sort that's kind of led them to a certain part of the house. But our inspector will go in, they'll do a full sweep of crawl space, attic, wherever the customer's hearing the noise or seeing the animal. And then past that point, he'll write up a quote, letting them know these are what all your options are. But ultimately, it is your home. It's going to be your choice what you'd like to pick and choose out of this quote to get a remediation.
Okay, nice. And I can speak from experience. We had I was telling you earlier, I woke up one morning and it sounded like an attic. It sounded like a bird was either in my room or right on the windowsill outside. It was super loud, singing. Mm-hmm. And Went to the bathroom. It was, brush my teeth, whatever, and the fan is right above me in the bathroom, and you could hear these birds were just up in the attic. Somehow they got into the attic. So I called you guys, and that's exactly how it went. They go, hey, this is what's going on. You've got these vents in the attic. They're getting in through these little tiny vents. What we do is we'll remove the bird. If they're in there right now, humanely, then we'll attach these cages on the outside that you can barely even see them, but it prevents them from going in. Mm-hmm. So they came and did that. Swear to God, the other day, I'm sitting outside my backyard, and I see, and like that's where they were getting in. So the cages are there now. I see this bird fly up to the cage, and he's like sitting there looking at it, and then he flies away. So it was literally trying again, but the cage did its job and it prevented him. And it was really, really easy. They did it. I wasn't even home. You guys didn't even have to go inside. Somehow they did it from outside, and it was really, really super easy. So kudos to you guys because it worked, and I haven't had birds since.
Nice.
Yeah, and we got it quick enough to where they didn't do any damage. They didn't tear up any insulation. They didn't tear up any ductwork. Yeah, so I've been a customer, and I can attest to you guys doing a great job.
We love that. Thank you.
Yeah. So specifically, what's your day-to-day? What's your job with the company, and how do you get involved and help customers?
So I run our business relations for my company. So I work closely with a lot of neighboring businesses that do handyman work for houses. So like plumbing, HVAC, pest control companies, anybody that is regularly servicing your house. We just offer to be a resource to them if they come across animals. We know that it's not a safe work environment for you to be in a crawl space looking right at a raccoon when you're trying to fix a pipe. Not everyone is comfortable with that. So I just go around and I try to make more personable relationships with these companies and give them a real human interaction, a real person to call when they need. And then from there, they send me some customers that are in need of our service, and I'll reach out to the customer directly. That way they're not calling some type of call center.
Nice.
Not given the go around on how to get scheduled. Once they call me, I'll get them scheduled same day to have somebody out there.
Awesome. And then, so are most of your kind of sales efforts business to business? Are you getting most of your referrals from other companies like restoration companies, pest control companies, plumbing companies, or are homeowners kind of finding you guys direct and calling you guys direct, or what normally happens for y'all? A little bit of
Honestly, both? Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Whenever you type in animal control, we're one of the first options that pop up on Google. A lot of people think that we're actually animal control, like the government ran facility for, stray dogs, stray cats type of thing.
So y'all get some of those calls?
Yes, sir. So we work very closely with local animal controls and animal shelters and TWRA as well, because a lot of times people just don't know who to call.
Yeah.
A lot of times people are frantic in these situations when they come across wildlife.
Yep.
So we get a lot of calls just from people doing their own search, but then a lot too from fostering these relationships.
What does the homeowner need to know about certain types of animals when it comes to like the law? And do you know like what's the if a homeowner tried to DIY this, not only is it, well, let's just talk through that. Why would a homeowner not DIY any of y'all's services?
So going back to the fogging treatment,
yeah.
Once again, you can grab an animal out by your bare hands, slap some wood over a hole, but that pheromone's still going to be there. When it comes to closing up those entry points, we use galvanized metal, so that's something that rats and squirrels can't chew back through. And a lot of times people are using like construction mesh.
Right.
That's very easy. I've literally seen a video of a raccoon
ripping it.
Rip a gate, like one of those crisscross metal.
Yeah.
Yes. Pull the gate back, let all of his friends go through the little tunnel, and then he backed it up.
And closed it.
Yeah. They're incredibly smart.
That is awesome.
So you missed one screw.
It's great marketing for you guys.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, don't do this.
We should post that on our Facebook page
if
I come across that video again. But really just that, like the quality of products that we use, as well as just, we do this every day for a living.
Right.
So we know how to kind of specialize to certain scenarios because everybody's situation is a little bit different. You've got some people that they've been hearing a bird for 5 days and then they give us a call. You've got other people that they've been hearing chirping for 5 years.
Oh my gosh.
And haven't done anything.
And they've got a party in their attic.
Absolutely.
You got to rip out
insulation's
insulation.
black. Yeah.
You got to probably do some duct work. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So be proactive. If you hear something, the sooner the better. That's the approach I took, and thank God, because it was the cheapest it would have been compared to having to do more work that they caused damage to.
Absolutely. And we also going into I lost my train of thought.
That's all right. I was doing that earlier too.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
We also do preventative measures.
Okay.
So even if you're new in, your terrain, you've seen a lot of wildlife out in your yard, and you just want to make your home preventative so that you don't have any problems, we also do preventative work as well.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of homeowners that are far more risk adverse, and they go with the preventative options. We love that because we have some subscriptions within MyHome that are built for the preventative maintenance aspect of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So we do the customer pays a quarterly cost, and it comes with an annual water heater flush, HVAC filter changes, HVAC cleanings, electrical work, some plumbing inspections, roof inspections, just things around the house that no one really does, and it can cause really big problems.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be cool. Y'all's preventative work would be cool to add to that package, because that falls right in line. What's the going back to kind of what makes why somebody shouldn't DIY it? I think to me the first thing that comes to mind is I don't want to put myself at risk of rabies and all of this other nonsense, right?
Yeah. So before I got into this industry, I was under the impression that rabies was like a one shot, you're done, kind of like a tetanus shot or something like that.
Yeah.
Very much not.
It's a process.
It's a year-long process.
And the shots hurt.
I have heard from personal, one of our employees that it feels like liquid flame is getting put into your body by a slow IV.
And isn't it monthly?
Yes, for an entire year.
Dude, one time when I was a kid, I got bit by a dog at the park. And we were kids, and we were out, we went back home, and my mom was like, "What happened?" I was like, "I got bit by a dog." She was like, "Whose?" I was like, "I don't know." So we didn't know if this dog had rabies. So we went to the doctor, and they were like, "Well, if we don't know, you have to start rabies shots." And they were like, "You have to start next month or next week or whatever." And so for that week, we went on a freaking mission. This was before social media and all that stuff, so it's not like we can just post on Facebook. We went on a mission to find whose dog it was, so we could just ask and get the papers to show it had its shots and it wasn't, didn't have rabies. But I was about to start rabies shots the next week, and we found the owners and everything was good. I didn't have rabies, and I didn't have to take the shots and all that
you
stuff.
You got lucky you
found
them.
Dude, you're not kidding.
Because you would think they would be hiding the dog since it'd been a kid.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Not trying to get caught.
All we wanted to do was make sure that, it had its shots and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, to that point, it's if you've got a raccoon in your crawl space, I think you should probably drop the ego and call somebody.
Yes. Stop watching Turtle Man.
Right.
We're not all Turtle Men.
Yeah. It's okay. You're good at other stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have to prove yourself there.
Exactly.
Right. It's not that cool. You don't. It's it's not really bragging rights. Bragging rights is getting it done the right way. Calling somebody. It's also very cost effective. You guys' prices are super fair. When I went through the process with y'all, it was expected. It wasn't cheap, but it's not expensive. It's the right price to be like, okay, I'm not doing this because I don't want to get on a 30-foot ladder and screw in these cages into my house. I also don't want to go in the attic and do all that stuff, right? So it's I'm happy I didn't try to DIY it. Yeah. For sure.
And do you have brick house?
No, it's siding.
Okay. It would have been too hard to screw then. But
Yeah.
that brick, good grief. When I was a tech for this company, I stripped so many screws. I felt so bad.
So you started as a tech?
Yes.
And then went into sales?
So part of our hiring process is that you work every category of the business so that you have appreciation and understanding of what everyone's role in the company is.
Nice.
So I was hired on for business relations, but I spent a week with the technician. He didn't ask me to do anything, but I didn't feel right.
Not doing anything.
Yeah. I try to help any way that I could.
Yeah.
So worked with him for a week. I went with one of our inspectors, did some inspections with him, saw how that worked. And then my brother is co-owner of this company, so
Cool.
I got to kind of pick his brain as well on a owner level as well before I stepped into my role so that I had full understanding.
Oh, that's awesome. And that makes your job as a salesperson much easier.
Yes.
Because you feel equipped and ready to answer questions.
Absolutely. And I can say with confidence, you know, backing our guys, they work incredibly hard. I could not imagine being a tech every single day working physical labor out in these conditions, out in the weather.
Dealing with these animals.
Yeah, dealing with these animals. You're up on a 30-foot ladder screwing into brick.
Right.
And you're having to put your whole body force into it.
Yes.
You know, I have a lot of appreciation and respect for what our guys do.
So do I. Yeah. So do I. That's why I was happy to pay. Yeah. You know? Tell me about one of like the craziest stories that you have either experienced with when it comes to like dealing with these animals, or the craziest one like in the company right now. Like what's like the water cooler talk on like the craziest animal situation?
So I'll give you mine first and then the company's. Mine aren't as exciting. More so, some of the calls I get are just funny.
Oh, right.
So I had a lady call me a couple weeks ago. She starts out telling me she's from California, and she's screaming like immediately as soon as I answer the phone.
You're like, oh, hello.
Yeah, she's like, I'm from California. And I was thinking, like, where is this going?
Yeah.
So calls me screaming, says that she's from California. And I'm like, okay, this is Livia with Complete Animal Removal. How can I help you? And she said that she had a deer that we needed to come remove. So I'm thinking, this deer's in her house.
Yeah.
The way that she is screaming, she must have left her back door open.
And it walked right in.
Smelt something, and it just walked right on in. So I'm like, what part of the house is it in? Just, assuming. And she was like, no, I'm looking at it in the yard. And so I'm thinking, okay, it's dead.
Right.
Okay, she called us for a dead animal removal. Okay, we can help with that. So I'm starting to talk about like what the process would be like getting a dead deer removal. She's like, no. It's alive. I'm looking at it in my backyard. I don't want it to mess with my dogs. And I'm like, let's bring it back. If you don't mind me asking, how many acres do you live on? She lived on 10 acres.
Oh my gosh.
Came to Tennessee and did not want deer in her yard. So, jokingly, I was just like, you can put it on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm sure there are plenty of people in Tennessee that would love the opportunity
to come
take care of that deer for you.
Yep. You might not like how they take care of it, but they're going to take care of it.
Well, that's what she said. I don't want it killed. I want y'all to come, pick it up, scoop it up, put it in your truck, and relocate it somewhere else.
You said, all right, so we have a retainer program where you pay us $1,000 a month. We'll come get your deer whenever you have deer.
It's not a dog.
Right.
You can't just go pick it up, first off. Second off, that's their home.
Right, yeah.
That is their home. So that's what I told her. I said, with the choice of moving to Tennessee on 10 acres, it is also wildlife's home. Welcome to Tennessee.
Yeah.
If you ever get an animal in your house or a mole or groundhog tearing up your yard, we'd be happy to help.
That's right.
But as far as the deer go in the yard, try to see the beauty in it.
Yeah, exactly. And if you really don't like them that much, you can just run at them.
Oh, literally.
Walk outside. They'll probably run.
Cock a shotgun.
Yeah. Bang a pan
They
together.
know.
They get it. They'll leave. Yeah, that's, and I would venture to say if you had 10 acres in any state, you're probably going to see some wildlife.
Yeah. I think Tennessee just has more wildlife than what some of the
are used to.
Perimeter of the United States are used to, yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. No, it's alive. It's just standing there. It's like, well, just don't let your dogs out right now.
Also, they're
not going to mess with the dogs.
No.
Unless
the dog was like coming straight at them or one of their babies or like biting their ankle,
and they're
they're going to react.
Stomp them and stuff.
Yeah, but they're not going to go see a dog and go immediately to try to mess with it.
They should be more worried about bigger bobcats and whatever we got up in the hills for killing dogs and stuff.
Absolutely.
Not a deer.
We've been doing a lot of coyote and bobcat jobs.
Yeah. My in-laws had their cat killed by a bobcat. Just got too friendly, and and they got pictures of it in their little trail cams all the time. Yeah, that's much more worrisome for your pets than a deer is.
I didn't want to scare her.
Yeah.
I didn't want to let her know.
Yeah.
We also have very big cats.
Yeah, you should be concerned about not this, but something else.
Yeah.
So what's the company's?
So I was told that there were 2 raccoons recently in a china cabinet in this lady's house.
2?
Mm-hmm. I don't know how 2.
And how long?
I would imagine it was immediate. I would like to think it was immediate.
Right.
Especially if her china was on the line.
Yeah.
I know that older generation is really, it's a close, dear place to their heart, their china. So usually it's like handed down. Yeah. But I can imagine her surprise whenever she walked in and there was 2 raccoons inside of her cabinet.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Dude, when we were kids, we got a squirrel in the chimney.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't call anybody, but we just it was a split level. So it was like on the lower level. And we just lined with like boxes and anything we could find a path for it up the stairs and out the front door. And then we let it out of the fireplace, and it just like ran, and the path worked, and it ran and went out the front door.
That is so innovative.
Yeah,
especially for kids.
Yeah, it was so dumb because like it could have not worked very easily, but he just kind of followed it. So how would you guys do it? You guys have like nets and stuff, or what's the process of like catching that raccoon?
Yeah, so we have catch poles that we would use if we're on site one-on-one with an animal. For snakes, we've got tongs. And then as far as stuff like birds, as you can imagine, when you're up in a attic space, it's not very safe to run around in an attic space that's just got beams.
Yeah, the rafters.
To walk on. Yeah, so with that, we're not going to try to catch a bird with our hands. We don't want to be falling through someone's ceiling. So with that, we would set a one-way valve wherever their entry point is at. As you know, we'd set that one-way valve. Inevitably, they're going to have to go out for food.
Yep.
And if they don't, we'll be doing a dead animal removal for you.
Right.
But if they go out for food, that door's going to open, allow them to exit. It's going to close behind them, and they can't find their way back in. It can't be manually lifted up from the outside.
Nice. That's humane, too.
Yeah.
You know, they leave, and they just can't come back.
Yeah, and we would come in, do another sweep, make sure nothing was in there, and then close it up for them.
Nice. Yeah. Good deal. Yeah, that's funny. 2 raccoons in a china closet or a china cabinet.
Yeah, it's like the what's the line that's like a bull in a china shop?
Yeah. 2 raccoons in a china cabinet.
Yeah.
Did they break everything in sight?
Unfortunately.
I wonder if that's covered under insurance. Do you guys do a lot of insurance work?
Yes, sir. Yep.
So a lot of these things are covered under people's homeowners policy.
It's for some people, yes, sir.
Depends on the situation.
It just depends on who their company is
the
and
policy.
What they're willing, yes, sir.
Yeah, I remember Allstate had a commercial where they had their mayhem guy, and he was like a raccoon. Mm-hmm. And so like but being on the insurance side, we've done some of these jobs to where we've come in and done property restoration after an animal has done their thing.
Gotcha.
And sometimes the homeowner's policy will only cover certain things and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's just a case to case, but it is an option.
Right. Well, what are the goals for the company, or what are your goals personally for the company in the next 3 to 5 years? Where do you guys want to be? Do you want to have more sales people underneath you, or what are y'all's plans?
So, company goal is to keep expanding. Within the past couple of years, we've franchised out to Kentucky. So now we run all of Middle Kentucky, southern parts of Illinois and Indiana,
nice.
Ohio. And then we just franchised out to Chattanooga and also starting a branch in Knoxville.
Nice.
And then I believe within the next couple of years, we've got plans to go down to that Alabama line and bring it more south.
So growing with other markets.
Yes, sir.
And are you guys the franchisors, or are you guys franchise owners? So you guys franchisees?
The owner lives in Tennessee, and our office is based out of Cool Springs.
Okay.
So the one that franchised out to Kentucky is my brother. He started as a technician with this company 7 years ago.
Nice.
And he's a super hard worker. He was bringing business ideas to the table. So the owner, one thing about our company is we promote within. So we're not going to hire somebody just because they have manager experience and put them over guys that have been working hard to move up.
Yeah.
So he was able to bring some ideas to the table, get moved up, and then now he's got his own branch in Kentucky that he runs.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Is there something you want to say direct to the customer that, you know, you always, in these situations, you're like, man, if they would have just known this one thing before we got there or anything like that. Is there something that customers need to know about animal removal or the process or anything like that you can take advantage of this time to tell them?
First and foremost, I would just let everyone know that we do free inspections. There's no harm, no foul in getting somebody to come out that's educated and that can give you resources to come see what's going on.
Nice.
And then also to know that wildlife is unpredictable. You know, even with us being the experts, even with us having years of knowledge, just because one raccoon acted this way doesn't mean that the next one is. So have the expectation that wildlife isn't going to always be picture perfect, and it's going to throw us some curveballs, but we adjust well.
Nice. Awesome. Well, Olivia, thank you for coming in.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.